Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Over the Top Talk. I'm your host, Owen, and I'm joined here, as always, by my co host, Anthony. How we're doing today?
We're doing great, bro. We're doing great.
Perfect. And today, changing up a little bit, going into the Massachusetts fighters, we're going to be interviewing Andrew Valdina, new Cage Titans bantamweight champion. How are we doing today?
What's going on, boys?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Do you kind of want to start off by kind of introducing yourself and telling the people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Andrew Valdina. I'm a professional MMA fighter, 7-0, newly crowned bantamweight champ for Cage Titans. That fight was this past Saturday, man. Or actually, it was over a week ago now. Time flies. But yeah, so I've been fighting. My first fight was 2019, and I had a 7-fight amateur career. Took a lot of tough fights to get me ready for the pros, and it all paid off. And I'm just doing what I love every day.
It's awesome.
Perfect. I'll pass on Anthony for the first one.
Yeah, so my
All right.
first question for you is what kind of inspired you to become a professional fighter?
Um, what inspired me? So like a few different things. Like as far as like inspiration, I was
Hmm.
I loved like the fighting movies growing up, dude. Like I loved
Hmm.
like one of the best gifts I've ever been given as a present, dude, was like the full set of Rocky movie collections, like DVD
Oh, yeah.
collection.
That's
When I
sick.
was young, yeah, I was like in sixth grade, and my parents gave me that. And like, oh my god, watching all the battles he had, dude, with the music montages, I'd be like giving my dad like rib shots, like like so I just always
uh,
wanted to like chase that type of life and like those moments and stuff. And I also like I wanted to learn to defend myself early on too. So I put myself in Taekwondo. I got my black belt in that. I wrestled in high school and college, and so everything kind of led organically to fighting in general. But the spark of it definitely came from those like awesome fighting movies like Rocky and shit like that.
That's awesome.
Great. What would you say is like the most challenging part about being a fighter?
The most challenging part about being a fighter. I mean, I loved every single part of it, even like the struggles and stuff. But like, I'd probably say earlier on, it was really tough to just figure out how to balance everything. Like because I've always been a firm believer in if you want to be the best at something in the world, like you can't have like too many different cups of everything. You know what I mean? Whatever that expression is, like you gotta really go all in and dive into that one thing. In my opinion, it's my philosophy, and me doing that for years, like really just making this my number one priority at all times, every day. It's like the other things in life kind of get like kind of just like pushed to the side a little bit, and that's like family time a little bit. I try to spend as much time as I can with my family, but that kind of gets diminished a little bit with trying to make this my number one goal. Friendships, trying to like keep those and stuff. Those kind of I don't really get to see my friends too often as much as I'd like to, um and then obviously it's not a glorious pay right off the bat, like so
Yeah.
that's definitely
Mhm.
tough to balance with the rest of life going on too. But I do love the sport so much. I love the lifestyle it brings with all the struggle and sacrifice I make. So you say what's the most challenging? I guess I have to say that, but I wouldn't want it any other way.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Kind of going on with Owen's question with the challenging part. How would you say like you handle the physical toll that fighting takes on your body?
I'd say I handle it well. I mean, I'm coming from 8 years of wrestling, and I've always said that that's the hardest sport in the world, man. Wrestling. I mean, it goes toe to toe with MMA in my opinion now these days, especially like getting to these higher points in my career where I kind of see how much it takes. But um, the physical exertion through practices and weight cutting and injuries, it's nothing new to me. I've had it for the better half of my life now, so it's nothing new to me, and I'm used to all that, and I enjoy it.
Awesome.
Of course. Do you deal with any sort of pressure? I know in your spot, there might be that pressure to kind of win. Do you feel any pressure like that?
So like going back to my college wrestling years, this is like a perfect example of how like I kind of had like a new mindset of having to deal with that, because you get to a point where like pressure gets mixed with like expectations and what people are expecting out of you, especially if your career is going so well. People kind of like see a winning fighter as someone they're expecting to win the next one in some big fashion. And in wrestling, like I had that going into one of my seasons, man. And my head coach, he ripped off this like really good, gave me a good quote about success. And I don't know the exact quote right now. It's from John Wooden, who's like a legendary basketball coach. But he said like success is like basically just in a nutshell, it's giving your all. And like if you truly gave your all to like what you're trying to achieve, like regardless of the outcome, that's where like success and like peace of mind come from. Because if I know that gave absolutely everything I could to the event that I'm trying to win, like how can I ever like let my head go down about that, like 'cause I gave everything. So now it's like this pressure that's coming onto me for like these other upcoming fights I'm going to be having and stuff, where people might be expecting like great things out of me. It's like as long as I'm always just doing my absolute best, man, I don't let the pressure get to me. And I think that's really going to help me my entire career.
Awesome. So when you're fighting, you're gonna have like fans in the crowd or online that talking about you, like positive and negative. But how would you say like you deal with the negative fans?
Everyone's always going to have something to say, like you said, positive or negative. Everybody's got an opinion. Like to tell you the truth, dude, like I try not to look at any of these comments anymore, just because like if you're not in my profession, dude, there's so many people that actually don't know shit about anything they're talking about. So it's
Mhm.
why should I care about an opinion of someone that has never done what I'm doing or ever going to try to achieve it, and instead they're just commenting from their couch eating the bag of potato chips, man. Like off this last win I just had, my biggest win to date against the toughest opponent I've ever fought. Guy that's never lost in Plymouth. Like I'm the first person to dethrone him, dude. I got so many comments already, dude, about like just negativity, dude. I can only imagine how it would be if I lost. It's
Oh,
insane, bro.
yeah,
So you just can't pay him any mind, and if you do pay him mind, man, your mind is gonna be taken. Like you can't let people's opinions get the better of you at any point.
definitely.
And we've had multiple fighters on there talking about making weight. Some say it's a challenge. Some say they're kind of used to it, so it's easier. How is making weight like a challenge for you?
um, Through my career, I've gotten a little bit better at it. And like I said, for 8 years of wrestling, I am used to it. It's a little different from wrestling to fighting though, because with wrestling, man, like you're making weight once or twice a week, every week. So it's a whole different animal. Maybe you're not cutting as much weight as you are for one MMA fight, but you're still doing that over and over and over again throughout the season, and that kind of sucks. And in a lot of cases, I think cutting weight in wrestling is way more difficult than cutting weight in MMA. But for this, man, I've gotten better at it. I've really fine tuned everything through all my amateur fights to my pro fights. Still learning new methods that'll make it even easier than it already is. I mean, there's definitely some difficult times through camp, like the diet, getting closer to fight week and stuff like that. But I think I got a perfect build for 135 where the weight is never like too big of an issue on my mind through camp, and I can really focus in on the skills and not have to worry so much about all this weight I gotta lose. So it's not too bad.
Awesome. So through your career so far, what would you say is your favorite fight that you've had?
My favorite fight that I've had.
And it's okay. You can give a top 3 if you can't think of just one.
Top 3 is gonna have to be. I mean, this fight that I just had, man. That's the highlight of my career so far. Like I said, beating a guy who's never lost in Plymouth Memorial Hall. Defended his belt. Like I got to take that from him. Toughest fighter I've ever fought as well. So that's definitely in top 3. It's probably number 1. And then the other one that comes to mind is this kid, Noah Abdil. That was like after a year-long layoff of all these different injuries I had that all hit me at once. And it took me an entire year basically to get back in the cage. And I just had to go through a lot of shit like leading up to that fight where it just like outside of the cage, like on my mind, my body's injuries and stuff, and to see it finally like just keep faith in the big man upstairs and get me into the fight, get me that dub. Like those are my 2 favorites at this point.
Awesome.
And I know you've spent a lot of time, training down in the basement with guys like Connor, Joe. How have they helped you kind of like improve?
Oh, immensely. I mean, those guys are just very consistent training partners for me. We all get our teachings from this guy, Pete Luciani, who's our head coach. He's a crazy man. I don't know if you met Pete, Owen, in the basement at all.
Yeah, I have met
But
Pete. Yeah, I have met.
so he's quite a character. But
Yeah.
he knows his shit, man, and he teaches us all like just true paths to victory. And so if we're all taking that knowledge in and we're being able to work together to counter our game plans and different sessions, like just really give us like not just hard work, but it's like hard intelligent work too. And like I just think that we all trained like true professionals and martial artists in the past few camps now, and it's really starting to pay off. So I'm always thankful for all my teammates and coaches, man.
Awesome. And kind of going off that, like with training and stuff, would you be able to give advice to anybody who would, want to become a professional fighter in the future?
I'd say, like, it circles back to the beginning of what we said in this talk, man. Like, you gotta be ready and willing to sacrifice a lot. Like, you gotta sacrifice and give up a lot of things that'll give you this instant gratification and stuff, and be willing to kind of go through the fucking thick of it in some shitty times for many, many years. And if you're willing to endure all that and sacrifice things that kind of make you happy here and there, and all for like the hope and faith that like a bigger payoff's going to come, dive in. And you got to dive in. You can't just dip those toes in the water. You got to dive in, and you got to really make it your number 1 priority if you want to make a career out of fighting.
Awesome.
Perfect. So that's all the questions we have. But for everyone that comes on, we let them shout out anything, whether it's social medias, anything coming up. So I'll give you the floor to do that.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you both for having me on, man. This was a good talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you to my family, coaches, teammates, sponsors. You guys have all led me to get here, man. And it takes a village, like I always say. And that belt right there, that belongs to all of them too. So I appreciate everybody's love and support. And let's get ready for the next one. Let's go.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming
Perfect,
on,
man. We also thank you
All right,
for coming on, because you guys help make this podcast what it is. So
Yep. Thank you so much.
for everyone watching, we'll put his links down. Make sure to follow us on everything, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Let's go.